Now, if you're watching this video, then chances are that you currently have a fear of death or dying or have some kind of anxiety around thinking about death. Now, the important thing to remember when it comes to this particular topic is that this is a very, very common fear, and that a lot of people have this experience of being scared of death. Now, what I'd like to do is to share with you a little bit of a different take about death. And to hopefully give your mind a new way of thinking and alleviate that anxiety that you're currently experiencing. So my name is Kyle, and I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and a master NLP practitioner who's been helping people overcome their anxieties and extreme fears for over half a decade. And what I would like to share with you right now is when I work with clients and when they tell me that they are scared of death, what I am always really curious about and what I'm aiming to do with people is to change their relationship with their idea of death. So when you relate with something, and especially when it's something that is in the future, something that hasn't happened yet, then it is the way that you are relating to it. It's always the way that you relate to the idea of death. Now, what people do, whether they do this knowingly or unknowingly, is they create this idea around death. They create these pictures, they create these movies, they create these feelings, maybe they create these sounds all around death. And when they think about it, those feelings and those sounds and those pictures and those thoughts are what they experience. Now, when I work with clients and they say to me that they have a fear of death, I will become curious and I will ask them, well, how do you know that death is such a bad thing? And then they'll say whatever the answer is. But the very nature of being scared of death is a bit of an oxymoron, because how can you be scared of something that hasn't happened? Now, the way that fear works is that, you create this feeling, you create this image inside of your mind, and you fear that image, not the actual experience itself. So I was recently working with a client, and she said that she was scared of dying, and I offered her a little bit of a fresh perspective on this. I was like, well, how do you know that dying is a bad thing? And she looked at me a bit puzzled, and she was like, well, I suppose I don't really. And then I shared with her a little story, and I said that in medieval Japan, they actually believed that death was one of the most beautiful and blissful experiences that you experience in this lifetime. And the reason why this is so powerful is because the way that those medieval Japanese people, those samurais, related with death made them not scared of death. In fact, they even embraced it, and they looked and they yearned for it sometimes. They were seeking death because they believed that it was the new path and the new way for them to go into the next chapter of their existence. Now, I find this a lot, especially a lot in the Western world especially, is that the way that we have been brought up to believe, the way that we think about death, the things that we believe about death, the way that we perceive death, is all very skewed. So, hundreds if not thousands of years ago, most people were not scared of death because they had different beliefs. However, especially in today's world, in the Western societies, I've noticed especially, is that people are afraid of death because the way they think about death. So I've had a lot of people say to me that they expect death to be like being stuck in a dark place for eternity. Like, where has that come from? How do you know that to be true? How can you justify that? How is there any evidence that you have that that is actually what is going to happen? And if the answer is anything other than none, which it will be, because you won't have any experience of that, why would you believe that? Why would you put your thoughts, why would you put your energy into that belief that isn't serving you, that is just taking away your happiness from the present moment for this one thing that will inevitably happen to all of us? What purpose is that? And it's just really curious. So what I would invite you to do watching this video is to become curious about your own relationship with death. What do you believe about it? What are your thoughts about it? What do you see? What do you picture? What do you hear? What do you feel? What's coming up for you when you think about it? And the reason why I'm asking you to do this is because on the other side of that fear is freedom, and on the other side of that fear is liberation. On the other side of that fear is being able to go about your day and not having to worry about stuff. Because remember, I've said this once and I'll say it again, all anxiety is unresolved fear. That's all it is. It's unresolved fear, and you looking into the future. When you're anxious about something, you look into the future. So become curious in the present moment about what your perceived idea of this thing that hasn't happened yet, or maybe in the process of happening, especially if this is if you're suffering with health anxiety, which you may be if you're watching this video. And just become curious about it. Become curious about it. And find out what is going on for you, okay? And the reason why I've shared all this with you, and it's because I recently made a video about reframing, okay? Now what reframing is where you think about something and you change the way you relate to it by changing the way that you think about it, okay? It's such a easy thing to do. It's such an easy technique. And what I will invite you to do is to reframe your thoughts, reframe your feelings, reframe your beliefs, change your relationship with this thing that you are so scared of, which has never happened. And all that you're doing by feeding this fear is taking away the very thing that you don't want to lose, which is the life that you have to live. So they're my thoughts on this. If you have any other questions or comments, I'd love to hear them in the comments, and I'd love to reply to you guys. If you are struggling with the fear of death, or you are struggling with health anxiety, then I actually work with clients who struggle with fears, phobias, health anxiety of all kinds. So if you would like to talk to me, there will be a link in the description below where you can book in a free call and we can have a chat together. Okay, so other than that, thank you for watching this video. I hope you found something of value from this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.